Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session on LinkedIn Premium. Is it worth it? I was just going to say there were three of us a moment ago, and in a panic, I thought we've lost one of our people, but there she is. She's appeared just at the 11th hour. So what we'll do then is we'll do a quick intro, and as you were late to arrive, Pierre, we're going to start with you. As a quick intro, if you just want to tell everybody who you are, what you do. If you would, please.
Hello, my name's Pia Bella. I'm 1080's new LinkedIn specialist. I come from sunny South Africa, Cape Town, with a BA Visual Communications degree, and it's wonderful to meet you all.
Fantastic, thanks for that. And Lincoln, if you would be so kind to say hello.
Yeah, no, good afternoon, everybody. I'm in the not so sunny northeast of London. It's somewhat dreary outside, but never mind. But yeah, I'm here today because I've spent the last 20 years helping people understand what LinkedIn's all about in terms of making the best use of it, alongside working with folks around their careers and what they want to go off and do.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, it's always one of those things where we have a short period of time to cover a big subject. And this first question is one I've been asking myself for some time. So I was really pleased to be hosting the session today. What is LinkedIn Premium? I keep seeing free trials and all sorts of things to help as other people are wanting to navigate their way through what it is. Perhaps, Lincoln, you could start us off by telling us, well, what is it then? What's it all about?
Yeah, I mean, so LinkedIn Premium, I mean, it's a service that's been around for an awfully long time. So, I mean, LinkedIn's history, very quick. They'll be celebrating the 21st birthday this May in terms of the platform's existence. And, you know, as the platform has grown, what they've realized is that there's opportunity both for corporate and individual. And whilst, you know, there's a huge array of information we've got access to under the free version, simply the premium is designed to give you unlock specialist actions and activities and content to really focus around networking, job search, also to help you kind of learn and get better in terms of your career, whatever that might be.
Brilliant. And Pierre, as our new LinkedIn specialist, anything to add to that from your perspective?
No.
Thank you. Right. Well, that was short.
Summarised it wonderfully.
well, moving on then. So now, when we met to set this session up, Lincoln and I first had a conversation, and I wasn't aware that there was different versions of LinkedIn. And I thought, well, maybe other people aren't quite aware of that as well. So perhaps one of you could talk us through, well, you know, what are those different versions of LinkedIn Premium, if you would, please. Who's going to go for that?
Go on, Pierre.
So there's several versions of LinkedIn Premium, including Premium Career, Premium Business, Sales Navigator, Recruiter Lite, and Premium for job seekers. Now, each version offers specific features tailored to different user needs, such as enhanced search features, in-mail messages, insights into profile views, and access to LinkedIn learning courses.
Brilliant. Lincoln.
Yeah, nicely put together. I mean, I think, you know, the two things, I suppose, in terms of consideration is that it's about kind of what you're there to achieve. And obviously, as mentioned, you know, from the individual subscriptions, you've got kind of three primarily different licenses that somebody would take out, whether that be the careers, whether that be the Sales Navigator or the Business Premium. And they each, like everything, have a staged offering. And as Pierre mentioned, you know, the filters and the advanced search capability are all pretty much the same, apart from Sales Navigator and the recruiter tools. But for individuals, you know, it's that ability to be able to see additional data around organizations, particularly from a careers perspective. As Pierre mentioned, you know, the LinkedIn learning courses, there are now about 18,000 on the platform in terms of the technology that's there, which can be fantastic, particularly whether you're in job search mode, in terms of looking for the next, or whether you're actually looking to advance or further your own career. That's the sole reason as to why kind of that exists in terms of the platform. When it comes to corporates, tendency is that if you're in a business development or relationship management role, then often it'll be the Sales Navigator platform that you'll use. And one additional functionality with that is it can plug into your own CRM as well. So be able to backfill your own data from your corporate activity and relationships and contacts. And then from the recruiter perspective, you've got the ability, obviously, to then be able to manage your recruitment processes from start to end under a couple of different guises. and also work on a team basis as well as individuals. So there's quite a lot in terms of the differences and the capability. But I mean, one thing that's worth pointing out, and you've already alluded to it already anyway, Dean, I mean, when it comes to the platform itself, we all, as a single member, get access to the platform for a month every year free anyway. And certainly one of the things when it comes to kind of looking at the different versions as well is that there's a tendency to kind of go with the cheaper version, though I would argue go with the bells and whistles version to really exploit it and see whether it's actually worth kind of taking out or otherwise. Because some of the additional functionality, like the increase in mails to be able to reach out to people, and with one of the new changes at the start of the year around the ability to send a personalized invitation when connecting to people, these things actually are quite important. So definitely kind of worth an explore. But yeah, the different versions are very much focused on corporate activity, whether that be recruitment or sales, or individual activity, whether that be sales, business, or careers.
Okay, so this was the big question. What probably why it's in big letters. Is it worth it? You know, you've said there about you know, take advantage of the free trial, but then after that you kind of look at it and you think, okay, I've got my free trial, and then it's this amount per month. Am I going to get bang for my buck, so to speak? Is it actually going to be worth it for me? What's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I always liken LinkedIn subscriptions kind of like to gym membership, in the sense that, you know, there's that tendency where we get to the end of the year and go, okay, put a few pounds, need to kind of work out or otherwise, so I'll join the gym. Joining a gym and paying 50 quid a month isn't going to get you fit and healthy, and it's certainly not going to get you to lose the weight. You still need to do things in conjunction, eat well, look after yourself, exercise, etc. But like gym membership, it will give you access to specialist equipment, which hopefully is going to then actually enhance or support you. So, I mean, for me, with any sort of subscription service, LinkedIn or otherwise, it's about, as you say, what's the real value per cost, and really understanding it fully. But it's about still making sure you've got the fundamentals in place. So, you know, whether you don't pay, or you pay, you know, a couple £100 a month, which is the highest cost there can be, if you haven't got a decent profile, it's not going to work for you. If you haven't got a decent presence, it's not going to work for you. If you haven't got the network there, it's not really going to work for you. So you need to still have kind of the fundamental basics in place before you can consider taking out a subscription. Much in the same as I say, gym membership. You know, paying the money each month will not get you fitter and healthier. Subscribing to LinkedIn's no different. And I think
I wonder if you've been speaking to my wife, though, because earlier on she reminded me that I'd not been to the gym and using my gym membership. So I feel like you've colluded together to guilt me into going to the gym. But I think it's a really good analogy to use, because I was watching it was a quiz program not that long ago, and they were talking about, I think one of the questions was, how many people have a gym membership? And then there was a fact afterwards that somewhere around about 50%, something like that, of people who have a gym membership don't use it. And so it's a really good, and I'm wondering how many people are watching today or watching us on catch up are thinking, oh yeah, I've got a gym membership that I don't use. So it's really, I think you're absolutely right. It's about getting the most value out of it and making it work for you, isn't it?
100%. And I mean, I think kind of additionally to add to that as well, it's that classic of you go to the gym and there's that piece of equipment in the corner, you don't really know what it does. LinkedIn subscription.
All of the equipment. Me, Lincoln.
Well, exactly that. But and that's the thing though. So for what you've got going on, what you want to think about is that whole, what will it give you? And I think particularly in terms of, is it worth it? You do really, I'd always encourage anybody, if they are going to take out a subscription, as say, to do the 1 month free trial initially and almost go with the bells and whistles, and then monitor what they do. You know, there's some basics that it'll give you, like it unlocks the ability to perform almost an infinite number of searches each month. And those things can be powerful. Or equally, the in-mail communication, though that doesn't always land very well. Equally, that ability to send those custom invitations. Yeah, when you kind of take stock towards the end of the month, and one of the comment I would make is that they will, in order to say, okay, the free trial, you have to put in your credit card details and they will debit your account immediately. So, you know, you want to give yourself almost kind of a 3 or 4 days in advance of that date, kind of reflect back and go, right, has it made a difference? Am I using this stuff? Does it really matter? Really to kind of work it out.
Okay. So, Lincoln, would you suggest that people have a very strong understanding of what they want out of LinkedIn before buying a LinkedIn Premium membership?
I mean, it's less to do with having a strong understanding. Equally, though, you need to make sure you know. So you need to know why you're there and why you're taking it out in terms of what it's giving you. And Dean, as you mentioned, there's often this piece around, it will suggest content to you, say you should subscribe, you should engage, etc., etc. But the problem with any of that sort of stuff is almost an element. Well, what does that really mean? So, like little things like the feature with the ability to see who's viewed your profile, that's nice. But if you don't do anything with it, it's kind of pointless. So, it's about kind of taking it forward and understanding why you're there. So, one of the things, in fact, I received it this morning as an invitational request. Somebody dropped me a nice invitation that said, I saw you viewed my profile. I've read what you do. Shall we connect? And it's like, yeah, okay. So they're using the activity and actions well in terms of the monitoring who's viewing them. They're then using the personalized invitation to then explain as to why reaching out, even though we've got a number of mutual connections, there's context to it. It's going to be a lot more compelling in terms of potentially accepting it. But, Mel's there to build her business. So I get why she's doing it as well. So, yeah, absolutely having kind of a reasonable understanding as a minimum makes a lot of sense.
I think thinking about other services that you might get where you get a free trial, like a streaming service for a TV or something. And what we've tended to do in that situation is we've sort of said, okay, when optimize when we're going to take advantage of that free trial, and thinking about, well, what's our objective, if you like, what are we going to watch, how are we going to use it to really get the best out of it, rather than just switching it on at any time. So when we think about the next question about how to get the best out of LinkedIn Premium, perhaps that's an element, isn't it? Is thinking, okay, what is it, being really, really clear and honest with myself about what is it I want to achieve? What am I going to use it for? How am I going to evaluate the success of that? Would that be something you would recommend doing, as well as me going to the gym, of course?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, as you say, it's about kind of optimization in terms of where you're at. So, the tendency often will be for individuals, particularly if they're a less frequent user of the platform for whatever reason. Let's say they find themselves in a situation where they're looking to change their career, whether that be of choice or circumstance led. When you sign up, when you're on the platform, obviously there's lots of, subscribe to 50% off, whatever it might be. So there's tendency of, okay, I need a job, I'll subscribe to the careers tool. Now, it's not to say that won't help. Absolutely. There can definitely be some real benefit from it. But one of the things you might choose to do from it in terms of taking full advantage is saying, well, actually, I've got time to be able to commit to this. And particularly with things like LinkedIn Learning. I mean, the history behind LinkedIn Learning was LinkedIn acquired a business called lynda.com. And Lynda was an online learning platform. And in fact, when it was acquired, kind of eyes were raised slightly in terms of the costs. They spent best part of $1 billion buying it. And everyone's like, what's this about? But the rationale for the acquisition made complete sense, which is if they've got a marketplace where there are lots of people who want to further their career, it makes sense to have a tool that enables them to learn better to further their career. That's really where it came from. And particularly with the explosion of self-learning we've seen in the last 3-4 years, in particular since COVID times, and that ability to kind of look out for yourself, it makes complete sense to take advantage of that. So some of the learning modules are absolutely exceptional. Some of them are terrible, but some of them are exceptional. And it's a great way to either learn new skills, stay up to date, or move yourself potentially in a direction that you wish. And with that in mind, I mean, certainly over the last 14 months or so, you've seen quite a substantive change in terms of how LinkedIn are trying to advise organizations around hiring practices. And it's about hiring people based on skills, not necessarily based on experience. And obviously skills can be created through qualification, through learning, and that's certainly where that couples in really nicely. So to your point around, choosing the right time to do it, absolutely. If you're going to be able to set aside some time to do some learning to further yourself, 100% take it out. If it's about looking for your next job in terms of career search, you still need to have, as I say, kind of that, Pierre, you made the comment of you still need to know what your objective is, what you're looking to do. You still need to have a decent profile and an understanding of that content and what that looks like. You still need to have, hopefully, a reasonable network that you're going to start to then grow. And then you can take the additional advantage of what the platform can offer as well. So there's a lot to it, certainly, but it's about having that time to make it work is definitely something to factor in with considering it. And it's then also understanding and appreciating what each of the facilities do. So if we take, for example, the general business subscription that you get within LinkedIn, the advanced search filters are useful. And actually, there's an opportunity to search based on seniority as one functional area. Equally, you can search based on, for example, companies hiring within your network, or hiring managers within as well. The in-mail facility, which LinkedIn often sell as being a nice way to reach out to somebody you don't know, is useful. Having said that, most in-mails land flat because it's too much of a sales approach. There isn't enough kind of reason as to why. So particularly if you're in that career and job search mode, what you want to do instead is look at things like the network and routes to individuals as being a better approach, rather than necessarily in-mailing a internal hiring manager or recruiter within a business. So, you do need to weigh up how it's going to be received as well, in terms of getting some of the benefit from it. So it's, again, kind of horses for courses in terms of how you approach it.
Okay. Pierre, so what's your thoughts on how do we get the best out of LinkedIn Premium?
So one thing that Lincoln actually just reminded me of is timing. So something he mentioned when we first met was that his LinkedIn Premium payment hasn't actually changed since he first bought it. So that price never upscales once you've purchased LinkedIn Premium and you continue to do so. So if you're looking to get a bang for your buck and you're looking to avoid inflation, I would suggest getting it as soon as possible if you are serious about it. In terms of the features of LinkedIn Premium, there are quite a few. Examples would be you could utilize advanced search filters to find and connect with relevant professionals, take advantage of email messages to reach out to contacts outside of your network, but the amount does depend on the type of premium that you do purchase. So for an example, Premium Career would give you about 15 emails per month, and Recruiter Lite would give you around about 120. So depending on how much you're willing to pay, you have to be quite careful with who you connect with and contact. Another example would be that you could use insights and analytics provided by Premium to optimize your profile and engagement strategies by viewing which posts on certain days received high activity. And this can be very helpful in navigating things like your hashtags to avoid or use in your captions, or to see which topics you write about that are actually more relevant to your audience. Lincoln also mentioned LinkedIn learning courses. So there are about 18,000. LinkedIn also, sorry, I get confused with Lincoln and LinkedIn. We made this joke earlier.
we decided that we would call you LinkedIn Lincoln, because then if we got it wrong, neither of us would feel bad. When we first met, that's what we were talking about. Because somebody, I'm not naming names, called you LinkedIn. And if I say it wasn't me, I'll let you draw your own conclusion. Pierre, you carry on.
Thank you. So LinkedIn learning courses, there are about 18,000 you can choose from, which again will help you develop your skills and also stay updated in your industry, which is always very important. You can also leverage premium features for job searching, lead generation, or talent recruitment, depending on your specific objectives. Utilizing Premium's weekly goal setting options is actually also quite handy. So it'll send you an alert saying, oh, send 2 emails per week, or which is a part of the goals.
We thought we'd lost you then. You did that sort of pause and then it caught back up with itself. So we thought we'd lost you for a moment then.
Unfortunately, living on a farm means your Wi-Fi is not the best. It's nothing compared to London connection.
Okay, all right.
So there are more examples, such as utilizing LinkedIn. Stuck on what to say about yourself? You can utilize AI features to help inspire you or provide useful statements that describe you best. You can also utilize top choice job features, but Lincoln doesn't really like this one. When applying to positions, this will increase your chance of standing out to hirers or recruiters, and you can mark about 3 jobs per month. Okay. And the best of all, you can compare yourself to other applicants and their skills to see where you stand in your industry.
Okay. Can I circle back to one point briefly there about the AI element, which I know is a whole nother subject. Lincoln knew I was going to mention this. I think I could see the look on his face. But I think I was reading somewhere that some of the AI functionality is going to be more available for LinkedIn Premium subscribers rather than the free version. Is that your understanding as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's already started to roll out. I mean, so what you had to take. So step back. A couple of things. So when LinkedIn roll out new features or changes or otherwise, because there's a billion people active on the platform, one of the ways in which they do it is to take a small section of individuals, test it on them. If it seems to be well used, liked, or deploy it, they'll deploy it across the platform. And AI obviously been spoken about a huge amount as a term and phrase for the last 16 months since OpenAI really went public. But with the AI initiatives that LinkedIn have rolled out at present, and there's a couple of different facets to it. You've got AI around recruitment. So those with recruiter subscriptions, you can use AI to assist with job posting. So actually how you describe roles and positions. You can use it as a way to also automate approaches to individuals and candidates in terms of dealing with applications and similar. But for individuals, in terms of standard you and I, what the AI features allow you to do is, as Per mentioned, they can give assistance around the creation of your profile. So recommendations of sort of new headlines or different ways in which you might want to phrase yourself, different ways in which you might want to introduce yourself through the about element on your profile. Though I must admit, having played with it a lot, I've yet to find one where I've really preferred it over the original. I mean, equally, you take elements of it like you can with any of this, but firmly that exists in terms of the AI features. And what you've also then got is the ability to use AI to help assist you with posts. So you can create content when it comes to a post. So you can structure a theme or some information. It'll then rewrite it for you based on sort of suggestions as to what they might make. Again, equally, I'm not a big fan of that. But the features do very much exist. Now, with the AI element to LinkedIn, there's a couple of things that are coming through. So, I mean, firstly, LinkedIn reported last week that actually, from a financial perspective, they've had a significant increase. In fact, it's 25% increase in subscribers in the last 12 months. So year ending 23. And that's driven by predominantly the AI features that are being rolled out, whether that be for job hunting or careers as well as recruitment. So they've had a huge uptick in subscribers off the back of the AI stuff. Equally, coming this summer, there's going to be a new change around how jobs are played out to the individual members using the AI elements that they've got. 'Cause one of the downsides, well, downsides the wrong phrase, one of the sticking points LinkedIn's often had, particularly around the jobs feature, is that you've got job titles that mean two very different things. So what they've developed previously was kind of job family principle, where you get associated roles and group them together. But what they're going to look to, what they are doing rather, and trialing it now, is to roll out AI assistance with jobs. As to how far that goes, the early stage versions I've seen have been quite interesting in terms of the screenshots and content I've had seen shared so far. But it is going to become a much bigger part. And hardly surprising, given LinkedIn's owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft not only have OpenAI relationship, but also Copilot. You know, there'll be a lot more assistance kind of coming through from there as well. So AI is definitely going to start to feature a lot more. Though I still think there's an amazing Marketeers cartoon talking about AI, where you got somebody who says, "I used AI to write this post," and then you got somebody else on the computer saying, "I've used AI to respond to this post." It's like computers talking to computers. We do need to be human at the end of the day as well.
Okay, we've got a question come in actually, if you don't mind me sharing this. So let's have a quick look. So the question is from Philip. Does premium give you a wider reach, and is the algorithm biased towards premium members? I'm thinking in terms of articles, newsletters, posts, jobs, etc. Philip, great question. I'm going to fire this straight at them and see if we can throw them with this one. What's your thoughts on that one then?
I mean, yes and no. And that's the classical.
Don't sit on the fence.
The reason I say yes and no is that, I mean, again, it goes back to kind of product for which you use, but we haven't mentioned it, but there are certain elements within the subscription where, as a premium member, for example, you get the little in symbol, which is displayed, which just means you stand out slightly more when somebody performs a search when they look at the list. But in terms of articles, posts, newsletters, jobs, etc., particularly with the jobs element, as Per mentioned, the top choice job feature does mean that you can potentially stand out a little bit more. From a posts and content perspective, and particularly around the algorithm as well. The algorithm changes massively on an extraordinarily frequent basis. So you had what was termed the creator mode, which was created circa 18 months ago. That's now going to be removed, but they're keeping the feature, they're removing the term creator. And it's about the ability to express information and have that shared in a much further way. So does a subscription really help you in terms of being found based on articles, content, newsletters, posts? No, in theory. Yes, in the sense of naturally you gain more exposure and you're able to see further through the subscription. So the byproduct is actually people are going to be able to see, though it's not driven solely from your payment, for example.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Also, from my understanding, with job searches, I would say that job searches, it would be the most biased because of the advantage it would give you specifically, not the recruiters. So like I mentioned before, you'd be able to see how your skills compared to other applicants, but it would also suggest certain types of jobs where the skills that and experience you've put on your profile match certain jobs. Okay. So it's a great feature to help you figure out, where your skills really fit in the industry you're looking for. So that's the only bias I would say.
Brilliant. Okay. So back to our original question. Now, before I threw in AI as a question, Lincoln, I think you were going to come back on something that Piers
said. In all honesty, it was going to be the reference around AI in particular.
Okay.
Leading the growth. So I laughed because it was exactly what I was going to say.
Get it? Who's going to get in first with it? Yeah. So, anything else to add from either before I go to the last question? Anything else to add from either about how we might get the best out of LinkedIn Premium?
No, I mean, well, Pierre, do you want to take this one?
No, I'm ready for the top tips, to be fair.
Oh, okay. Primed and ready to go. It's like a coiled spring waiting to pounce on the last question. So, Lincoln, back to you.
No, I mean, I think, again, kind of just to recap more than anything else, it's about giving yourself time to use it properly and explore it properly and understand the value. It's about taking full advantage of all the elements. I mean, I know when I first took up my SalesNav subscription, whilst I know the platform extraordinarily well and knew how it will work, I didn't set it up quite in the way in which I could have got the most benefit from it. So actually what I ended up doing was almost scrubbing it and starting again with a slightly different lens in terms of how I was looking to cut the data or see the information. So it really is just about taking the time to do it and learn it properly. But as Pierre mentioned, giving yourself that focus and emphasis on knowing why you're there and what you're looking to get from it as well.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to move to top tips. Pierre, go. Top tips. LinkedIn Premium, top tips.
So, a lot of it's been mentioned before, such as customizing your job alerts to receive notifications for relevant job opportunities, utilizing the Who's Viewed Your Profile feature to identify potential connections and engagement opportunities, which then you can utilize the InMail feature to connect with these people even further. You can take advantage of the premium badge, which you'll receive once registering, to stand out and signal your commitment to professionalism. It also looks pretty cool on your profile. You can use advanced search filters to pinpoint target companies or individuals for networking purposes. You could also regularly review and update your profile to ensure it showcases your skills, experience, and achievements effectively. Another thing which is quite useful is you can build your resume with relevant keywords and skills, which LinkedIn will help you suggest, which is another AI feature. And in my opinion, one of the most important, especially if you're looking for a new job, is that you can visit company insights. Here you can view your company of interests, insight on data like company growth, employee distribution and headcount growth by function, new hire trends, total job openings, and in my opinion, most importantly, company alumni, which is where your Who's Viewed Your Profile and your InMailing will come into use as well.
Brilliant. Okay. And LinkedIn Lincoln, back to you on top tips.
Yeah, no, additionally to build on all of that, I think as much as anything else, some of the features around the Who's Viewed Your Profile and actually then being able to, one of the things you can now do is segment by employer, also by what they describe as being kind of interesting views. So that could be recruiters, hiring managers in your space. That's definitely a useful feature. I think also as well in terms of kind of top considerations with it is that actually In terms of the subscription, not necessarily the cost per se, but it depends as to who you are as an individual. You might find you can offset some of the costs for your own business, or otherwise there can be a real advantage, obviously, in taking that out in that regard. But then the final point, I think, I suppose, as much as anything else, is that, you know, it will give you lots of useful features, but also you want to take it with a pinch of salt. And I can see that there's a question come in around, are there any stats around linked to having premiums going to increase your likelihood of getting a job? LinkedIn have stats saying that, yes, you're likely to increase the chances of getting a job because you've got premium membership. I'd argue, is there a comparison between like for like? So two people that do the same role, one who does, one who doesn't? Chances are no. I think the tendency is to why somebody might be more likely to get a job using premium is you're investing the money to make it happen. So that's probably going to actually be slightly more of a motivator as to why you'd help out or take costs from that perspective. So yeah, it's like anything. LinkedIn are here to make money, and the features are useful, and the premium membership is useful. But you do need to very much kind of run your own world in terms of what makes sense for you.
Brilliant. Okay, we are a little bit over time, so we will need to hold proceedings there. It is definitely one of those subjects where we could probably fill a few sessions, especially that AI curveball that we threw in there. So can I just say thank you both for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure to spend a bit of time with you and share some valuable career insights with everybody. The next session for our Career Insights series, I believe, is the 9th of April. We'll be posting more information on that fairly soon. But thanks a lot to both of you for joining me today. And thanks everybody for watching us live or watching us on catch up, whichever your preference was. I'm off to the gym. Thank you very much, everybody, and bye for now.
Thank you.